Good evening, folks. This is a video about tweaking the ignition system on the Interceptor. One or two people have sent me emails and asked me, have I done anything to improve it on my bike? And as luck would have it, I have. And I'll outline them, the improvements I've done here, and I'll keep it brief for once. This is it's a two-stage thing. You can either tweak your existing ignition coils, or if you're feeling really brave, like I was earlier today, you can entirely take out your coils and replace them with Dynatech coils, which are vastly superior to the standard coils. But the purpose of this video is to say, right, I'm going to leave my existing coils in place. What can be done to improve the performance? So the first thing is to fit iridium spark plugs. As you can see in the picture, iridium, the shiny one, has a very small central electrode. It has a very carefully beveled and grooved other electrode, the curly one, and it's tiny compared to the standard spark plug. As you can see, this next photo shows the original spark plug on the bike, and you'll notice the central electrode is very thick and the bent over electrode is it's quite crude really, by contrast to the iridium plugs. Now, iridium plugs have a resistor in them of 5,000 ohms. In fact, virtually every spark plug that anybody can ever buy now has got a 5,000 ohm resistor in it, and the reason behind that is to stop electromagnetic interference by a high voltage spark making the neighbour's telly go all crackly and they can't watch Sky Sports because they're seeing crackles going across the screen, or they can't listen to the dreadful news on the BBC because of a whining sound going up and down. Probably doing them both a favour, but anyway, that's what it's for. The resistor is to stop that. So the iridium plugs, like normal plugs, have a resistor in them, 5,000 ohms. This next photo shows the pair of iridium plugs that I bought for my bike, resplendent with their shiny coatings there. Now, people have posted and said, there are Chinese copies and there's fakes and all the rest of it. What I would like, if anybody's going to post and say, look, there are Chinese copies about, I'd like you to post why or how you can identify them. It's no good saying there's copies about, I'm sure there are. But what's needed is a definitive version as to what to look for. I've checked the printing on the boxes, colour separations on the printing, spelling mistakes in both English and Japanese, looks at the plugs, the machine is fine, so as far as I'm concerned they're genuine. But if anybody out there knows better than I do, and says, oh, there's copies out there, well, give us a good list of what to look for, and failing that, buy them from a reputable place, and I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm fitting these in my bike. Well, in fact, they're in my bike. So there they are, a pair of virginal young plugs that have not even sparked once yet, but they will very soon. This next photo shows the truly awful HT leads, standard HT leads, off my bike, with what looks like those cover things. Look like they're made out of red plasticine, don't they? I mean, they're truly awful, dreadful things. And the HT leads on my bike were absolutely rock solid. They are copper cord, PVC outer. They're absolutely rock solid, frozen in position. So I always replace not only the plugs, but I use silicon HT lead with a carbon fibre core. Carbon fibre has got a lot less electrical resistance than copper cord cable. They're much more flexible. You can weave them in and out of places, like if you've relocated your coils, like I've done. And they obviously, by lowering resistance down the wire, will hopefully get more zap to the plug itself. Those HT caps there are the original Royal Enfield. They're made out of plastic. I've never seen a spark plug cap ever made out of that before. I'm not particularly impressed. They're a bit like the relays under the side panel. They'll probably end up in the same dustbin. There are two NGK spark plug HT caps. Compared to the Royal Enfield, you can see that there's a difference in quality. You'll notice that the NGK ones have 5k with the ohm sign on, so there's 5,000 ohm resistor in those. I presume there is in the Royal Enfield HT caps. I think, like a lot of the components on the bike, they're just cheap, and you can see that looking at the NGK ones. The angle on the NGK is absolutely fine. They don't need to be that crazy angle on the originals. So this next shot shows the two NGK plug caps and the original Royal Enfield ones. You can see the leads, the funny pink plasticine looking thing. There they are on my fuel tank, well, plastic fuel, it's a dummy fuel tank on the Honda Pan European, all lined up for their little beauty pageant of photos there. And as I say, you can see on the NGK ones the 5k resistor. Now the next few photos will show how to remove that resistor and effectively bypass it. It still leaves a 5,000 ohm resistor in the plug, and that's more than enough to stop your neighbour's telly going off funny, or radio sounding weird. So here it is. Here's a picture of an NGK HT cap, complete with a 5k ohms thing on it. It's got good rubber seal at either end, and it's quite clearly a quality piece of kit. It's about £7 on eBay. Now this next photo shows, if you look down if you take the rubber end off it on the spark plug end, and if you actually look down it, you will see there is a brass insert, as you can see in this next photo here. So there it is. Now that is the end. The brass insert is the bit into which the threaded end of the spark plug goes. You know, where spark plugs have like an aluminium alloy type end, you can unscrew it or you can put it on. NGK spark plugs grip the end of the plug itself by using the thread, not the big alloy bit that screws on. Now you need a 7mm screwdriver, 7mm flat bladed screwdriver to undo that. Brass can be brittle, it can break, you're better off getting a nice, screwdriver that will fit across both of those slots, and then as per this picture here. That screwdriver is Lidl's finest, from their middle aisle of their tools, which are pretty good actually for the money. Not that I'm being sponsored by them. So you need a broad bladed screwdriver in there. Unscrew it anti-clockwise, normal thread, and you will see the following. Here it comes. There is a spring, a 5,000 ohm resistor, and the brass end that you've just undone. So the object of the exercise is to bypass that resistor, remove it, and lob it in the dustbin with everything else. And the way I do that, I get some copper core cable from any old bit of flex I've got lying about, sort of thing that you tend to accumulate if you're me, and just bypass it. So I thread it through the middle of the spring, put a big bit sticking out the other end like that, and then put that straight back into the HT cap, and you just poke down the top copper wire bit, just keep poking it in, and you then put the brass bit back on, screw it in, and it compresses your excess copper cable there, and you get a really good bypass. And that way you've taken 5,000 ohms of resistance out of the HT lead. In fact, probably more, because you've got rid of the copper cord cable as well. If you add it all up, it's pointless having all that resistance stopping a decent zap at the plug. So there's my leads done, nice and flexible, decent rubber bits on them, no resistors in them. I've checked them both with an ohm meter to check that there actually is continuity from where the plug would basically locate into the HT cap and the wire, and they will just screw straight into your coils at the left hand side there. Just screw them straight in, and that's it. That will be an improvement even on standard coils, guaranteed. The next video will be, like I said before, for the more adventurous, where you'd actually get rid of the original coils and put Dynatech ones on, which are, without a shadow of a doubt, vastly superior. That's a bit more involved. It's not that difficult. They're on my bike now, awaiting testing, and I shall report back honestly. So in the meantime, I hope that's been useful. If you're out on your bike, take care, and I will speak to you soon.